To control the general color scheme and what fonts are used by default throughout the website, come into the Design Style Editor, where you can control, first of all, the header color scheme and fonts, and then the body text, links, and other layouts, and then the headings and buttons themselves. So the style editor allows us to configure the default style of the site. Now, a lot of these settings can be overridden page to page, but anything with the header is going to be here, and the only way you're going to change the look of this is to add CSS code if you need to. So again, I can control the background color here, the navigation background, the navigation color scheme. If I go into it, I can control the hover color of the navigation or the active color of the navigation here. If we scroll farther down, we can do the same for the drop-down menu, the mobile menu, and then when it comes to the body of the page, anytime we use the text widget, it's going to be using this style by default. Anytime we add links, it'll be doing that here, using this configuration. And then throughout the website, we often add a lot of headers and buttons. So anytime we add a header, it's going to be designated as an H1, H2, H3, H4, or H5. So as you can see, when I hover over this, these are H2s. So the default setting, anytime I add a H2 header, so if I come into widgets and I drag a header onto the page, the look of this comes down to the default header style. So if I choose H1, you can see it capitalized the text. H3 is smaller, H4 is even smaller, H5 same size but less bold. So you could see I could control, or I could choose which header layout I want to use. But these default settings are going to, again, come from within the Design Style Editor. So if I change the look of H2, it can change the look of the text on the page. Now, you can see here I'm on this H2, which these are, but because I already overrode the look of these headers, changing the default isn't going to change them. It's already been overridden. But this, you're adding here, let's see which heading I did there. It's an H1, and I didn't override it. So if I increased its size, or I changed the font, or I made it all uppercase, that setting will pass on because I've yet to override it. Now if I come in here and I decide to change the font to something, or I change the boldness or the letter line spacing, and then I come back here and I change something, I change the font to this, it's not going to override it because I've already overridden the font for the header. So that's why it's really good to set the style editor, your font, your color scheme from the very beginning when you launch a site, and then make adjustments when you're editing a page, but you're working from the default. Anytime you start overriding and then later on you change your mind about something, you're going to then have to manually override it again. So get this right from the beginning and everything will be easier. So headers are used throughout the entire site, so are buttons. So anytime we add a button, so we'll come to widgets, we'll add a button, and just like the headers, if we come into design, we have different styles of buttons, which are typically just different color schemes often. So whatever defaults we have, again, within Design Style Editor, we configure them here. Good to do that from the very beginning. If I come into a button, I can obviously control the hover color, which is very often for a button. And lastly, if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, these are the designer color schemes. So if we go to the designer page, you probably wonder, well, how can I change the text color here or this background color? Well, that comes to the Design Style Editor, down at the very bottom here is where we control it. So if I don't like this back, we'll just make it black, and we can change the text color to white. So we can control the designer color scheme from, again, Design, Style Editor. The Style Editor is done, essentially the very first thing you do after you select the theme, and you don't update it very often. If you have any questions on how to configure the Style Editor, come up to the very top here and search Style Editor, and you'll find a very good help article to walk you through how to do this. If the help article doesn't do what you need, click on the question mark, raise a support ticket, which will put you in contact with client services, who is there to answer any questions you have or help you work through any problems. Hopefully you find this video helpful, and thank you for watching.